Are you looking for inspiration on a daily basis? Well, check out Deal to Heal Tea. With our inspirational teas, you're sure to find something that will inspire you. Just go to dealtohealteas.myshopify.com. That's Deal to Heal Teas. Get some inspiration in your situation. Wear inspirational tea and be inspired all day. That's Deal to Heal Teas at dealtohealteas.myshopify.com. Hi guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, then I know you'll enjoy the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. I'm your host, Earnest James. And on my podcast, my guests and I discuss topics and ways to help us to heal in every area of our lives. I believe that everyone can and should live a life that is whole, healed, and healthy. And therefore, I'm on a mission to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill, to deal with their problems, heal from the pain, and to fulfill their purpose. So check out our podcast. We're on Google Podcasts, Spotify, or even on Audible. And if you want to watch the podcast, check us out on our YouTube channel at Deal to Heal with E. James Podcast. Until then, see you soon. Welcome to the Girl Dad Discussions podcast. I am your host, Earnest James, and I believe that the relationship between the father and the daughter is one of the most important relationships in a woman's life. Therefore, our mission is to promote the daddy-daughter relationship by spreading the voices of girl dads to the world and give love and support to all of our dads and our daughters. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. If you haven't already, listen, like, subscribe, and share to our podcast on all of our social media platforms. Make sure that you guys don't keep it to yourself, but share it with someone else, that we are up and running, the Girl Dad Discussions podcast. Also, make sure that you guys check out our other podcasts, our partner podcast, the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Make sure that you check this out. And on our YouTube channel, which if you look under Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, on our YouTube channel, you will find both podcasts under that same channel. So you'll find the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, as well as the Girl Dad Discussions podcast with E. James will also be there. So make sure that you guys subscribe to our podcast. Also, I'm going to tell you guys how you can win $100 from the podcast, right? But you got to stay until the end of the podcast in order to get that information. You must stay to the end. And our next segment is our product of the week. As you guys know, we are a self-sustained podcast, and the way that we keep ourselves on the air is by bringing you products that you can purchase in order to help and support us. So our product of the week this week is my latest ebook. If you guys can see it, for those that can't see it, is Start Your Podcast Now in Only 3 Steps. Start your podcast now in only 3 steps. You listen to podcasts. If you ever thought about doing your own podcast, I've broken it down. I've written it out for you. Start your podcast in only 3 steps. I made it very simple. You can have your podcast up and running today, right? You have it up and running today. That can be found at on my ebook website, which is ebooksbyejames.com. That's ebooksbyejames.com, as well as my other ebooks that are available. But our product of the week, again, is our Start Your Podcast Now ebook. Start Your Podcast Now in Only 3 Steps. And that's available, again, at ebooksbyejames.com. All right. So today, just like any other day, we are blessed with a guest, Mr. Andre Robinson. How are you doing, sir?
How you doing, man? How you doing?
I am good. I'm good. First of all, let me say thank you for being on the Girl Dad Discussions podcast because you could have
Hmm.
been doing anything else, including spending time with your daughter, but
Yeah.
you're here with us, and we definitely appreciate it. So I want to let you know that right up front. So first thing I want you to do, introduce yourself
Hmm.
to us as who you are and what it is that you do for a living. Because most as men, we identify ourselves usually by what we do, by the work that
Hmm.
we do. So introduce yourself.
So again, thanks for having me on. My name is Diandre Robinson. I have plenty of jobs, 3 jobs technically, not including raising my kids. But the first one is I am a manager of a housing hotline for a nonprofit that helps renters know their rights here in Oregon. Um, I am a poker director 2 times a week as well. And I have my own podcast that makes a little money off of called Masturbators, where we use brackets and drafts to debate the most unlikely of topics. So thank you. Thank you again for having me on.
All right, fellow podcaster. That sounds
Mhm.
interesting in your podcast. I didn't even
Uh,
know you had a podcast. I should have asked you that too.
yeah.
Well, okay, I'm about to check you out.
Mhm.
So, first and foremost, what is your daughter's name? Because I always forget. I had
Mhm.
to make a note to myself because we had started having the podcast earlier with some
Mhm.
other guests, and we'd be talking about our daughters and never even say what their names are. So, what is your daughter's name, and how many kids do you have? How many boys and how many girls?
So my daughter's name is Sasha Billy Robinson. And I have a stepson, Ricky, and one on the way, having a boy, and well, basically Junior, Diandre Robinson Jr.
All right. Well,
Uh,
congratulations on that.
thank you,
Okay.
thank you.
So, my first question is: when it comes to your daughter, how did you find out that you were going to be a dad?
God's truth. I found out in Vegas. I found out while I was in Vegas. So, like I said before, I am a poker player. Uh, Not really a gambler, but literally the only gamble I do is poker, if you want to call it that. And I was doing a big tournament in Vegas, and my fiance texted me. It's like, I need to talk to you. Said, hey, I'm in some hands right now. I can't really talk. She said, "Oh, I'm pregnant." So, oh, I can talk now.
Right.
So,
Right. The game's over.
I could take a pause on the term real quick. And we kept talking. And then well, my first Sasha's my first. She has steps a boy already, um, which is Ricky, which means cool kid. I love him to death. Um, but Sasha's my first biological kid. Um,
Mhm.
and growing up in foster care and not knowing who my dad was, it meant a lot. I mean, my fiance name is Emily, and Emily told me all the time that you gave me the best gift that anyone can ever give me. Um, was it planned? No, no, but it happened, and it's still the one. It's still the best gift that she could ever give me.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, two things I want to mention. First of all, I definitely congratulate you, or I want to say congratulate. That's probably not the word. I just say honor you as a stepdad. You
Mm-hmm.
know, for being a stepdad. I myself am a stepfather. I have
Mm-hmm.
4 stepsons. My daughter also is my only biological child.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I always have to give props to the stepfathers because it's not necessarily an easy job, that we do, but we do. And just as you just expressed, that you love your stepson or your bonus son, as we like to say,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same way with me. All my kids are grown now. My daughter is the youngest, and she's 20 now, so all
Okay.
my kids is grown. But it's a different relationship, that you have because you had an option. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? You had a choice, and we chose to love our kids as they were our biologicals, you know. And even though they're not our biological, they're still our kids. And so I definitely honor you as a fellow stepdad in that sense. And the other part is I definitely understand, you know, to a degree, as far as coming out of being a foster child
mm,
yourself, and then having your own child. And then I just feel, myself, that our daughters are the best, like they always have the best part of us. You know
mm,
what I mean? So, and it just maybe just me with my reflection on my daughters. Like when I see her, I see all the best parts of me.
mm,
That's in her. And then being my family, my mom always took people in, right?
mm,
And just growing up, we're always taking people in, and anybody that was in need, I've actually done that definitely myself. But even as my family as a whole, including cousins, aunts, that's one of the things that seems to be a thread, throughout my family line is people taking in foster cares or adoption, number one, foster care, number two, and then what is the other one? Temporary housing, where you
mm,
might come from a while. So my family's been doing that for years, and I don't know where it started, but it's even been something that I've done and still do myself. And so I definitely, to a point, because I'm not a foster child, but I definitely understand that transition of being able to have that gift that is yours, to be able to be a father and give that thing that you didn't have.
mm,
So let's go here. One of the questions that I always ask. So as a girl dad, in
mm.
your own words, what does it mean to you to be a girl dad?
Uh, so I want to let you say that right now that Sasha's only one some change right now. So I only been a girl dad for a small bit of time. But to me, it means protection. For I have to be the protector of my daughter, not just from the simple things like other boys and other men and people that can harm her, but from herself. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, whatever she grows up to be, she grows up to be, and I hope this in the positive light. But to protect her from herself, what I mean by that is to make sure that I'm always there to make sure she knows right from wrong, even if it's right from wrong from herself, doing right things herself. I grew up, like I said, in foster care, but I grew up, for lack of better words, let's say a player, quote unquote. uh,
Mhm.
and uh, I always told myself that me having a girl, at least for my first child, was the universe basically smacking me in the face, saying, "Listen, hey, you did some stuff. Sorry, you did some stuff. Then you passed. Now you got to make sure that you pass on that knowledge to your daughter." So, I mean, to be a girl dad, to lack one word, I'm going to say protection. Oh, protector. I said that.
Right, right, right. Okay. So another question: did you guys, when you found out that you was gonna be a father, and you guys found out that you was pregnant, did you guys wait to find out the sex of the baby, or did you guys like, well, we want to know right away?
Well, as soon as I could, I did. As soon as I could, I did. So I'm not a big fan of waiting. I'm not a big fan. Listen, I want to know now so I can start getting stuff now. Uh, so Emily and Sasha and Ricky are the best things that happened to me. As soon as I found out that was going on, I had to change a lot of stuff up. I was renting. Now I'm not renting. I literally just bought my condo. So Sasha's room is pinked out. Even though I'm not a big fan of that, I mean, it's all Emily's doing, but it's pinked out. And as soon as we found out what we was having for her, we bought all the stuff we needed to buy, got the books and all that kind of good stuff. So I wanted to know for that reason. Plus, I am really impatient, so I really wanted to know, and I wanted to tell everyone as well. So as soon as we found out, as soon as we got that with that NIP test or NIPT test, whatever that test called, for generics, and it also tells you genetics, sorry,
Mhm.
and it also tells you the sex of the baby. I wanted to know. I want to know, and then if nobody else want to know, then that's fine with me. But I'm going to know. Just like my son is coming now. I mean, she's not due until my son's not due until December 30th, but we know that we have no boy now.
Right.
So I wanted to know.
So outside of changing from being a player,
Hmm.
tell me something that being a girl dad, or just in a way that your daughter has changed you for the better.
Um, so I'm more for, and this is even before her, but more for equal 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 between men and women. Um, I've been that way. I've been that way even before Sasha, but now I'm definitely in because I want Sasha to get everything she deserves. If
Mhm.
Sasha, if me and Sasha go for the same job and she's more qualified than I am, then she definitely should get it. If I don't want her to downgrade anything, downgrade that she can do because she's a girl or a woman or a female. Um,
Mhm.
Sasha is probably the second strongest person in this house. God is true. God is true. It was four people in this house. Sasha's probably the second strongest outside of me. Like her arm is something fierce. And if she said, "Daddy, I want to play football," all right, let's go practice. Let's go practice. So I'm more of equal opportunity guy right now because of my daughter. And I'm not saying I wasn't before, but now that I have her, it's definitely more of equal opportunity.
Okay. So my next question is, I know you said your daughter's only one,
Hmm.
but it's two questions that I always ask. Also, the first question I ask: what do you feel is your biggest accomplishment as a girl dad?
So my biggest compliment is something that I didn't have myself, and I'm here. I'm here for her. Every day she sees daddy. Every day I literally did this routine for her every single day. She get out of her crib, I pick her up until on top of my head, and I say, okay, let's count, and then I start doing like pull ups, push ups with her, and I
Mhm.
count to 10, and then when I get to 10, I shake her, say 10, and then she start laughing, so she knows that who daddy is. She knows that I'm here. She knows that you know um, I'm always going to be here unless I can't. Um, and knock on wood on that, but she knows that I'm going to be here. So the biggest accomplishment is that I'm here because again, I didn't experience that when I was younger.
Mhm.
So she knows that I'm going to be here for her.
All right, all right. And so, my next question is, I asked what is your biggest accomplishment,
Hmm.
and this one may not doesn't always equate, but as a girl dad, what would be one of your biggest regrets with something that you may have done or may have wanted to do but didn't do as a girl dad?
So for the 1 year, the 1 year that I've been the girl dad,
If it applies, it don't
uh,
always apply.
so no, the legitimately one thing that I really wish I could do more is travel. I always said that before. I mean, I've traveled. I'm originally from Philadelphia, but I live in Oregon and I lived in Florida. So I mean, I've lived in damn near across the country. However, I would love to. I would love to travel more outside the country. I thought I was going to before she even said it because I was supposed to go to Spain, but that but when Sasha came, I knew how to better my life, better our lives. Um, so I got the condo in a good place in Oregon. And I got make sure that everyone's together. So yeah, uh, I wish I could travel more, but it's gonna be better when they're older and I can travel with them.
Right. Okay. Okay. So, we're gonna transition right
Okay.
to the next part. The next segment of our podcast was called "Get into the Core" segment,
Okay.
right? And so I sent you a copy of the ebook that I wrote called "The Four Core," which is the four core values that every daughter should get from her father, right?
Okay.
And to my listeners, that that ebook can also be found at ebooksbyejames.com. And again, it's called the core four, which is the core four values that every daughter should get from her father. And so those four values are guidance, affirmation, love and affection, and the last one is protection.
Mhm.
And so when you think about those four values and just thinking from your own perspective, which value would you think is the most um, important to you to instill in your daughter?
That's an extremely hard question. It really is because I just talk about protection, but I love the word guidance. I mean, it's definitely between the two. I'm not saying the four of them is not are not important because they definitely
Yeah,
are.
definitely.
But and God's truth, love, and affection is up there too. Now think about it. But I mean, if you're on the show, and I mean, I'm going to say uh, I'm going to think that you love your daughter. So I'm going to go with guidance because, again, I have the not so great life. I'm not gonna lie. Being in Philly, if you have been in Philly before, Philly's not the best place to live at all. It's a hard place to live. You gotta do what you gotta do to survive. And then it took a lot for me to come to Oregon to change a lot of things that my mindset, a lot of my mindset I had. So the guidance part. So I already talked about the protection part right now, but I'm going to talk about the guidance part since I know the things that I've done and I could have done better or I could have done worse or anything like that. I think that the guidance part was probably the most important outside of protection that I can give. No, love as well, but I mean, out of the
Mhm.
four, if I had to choose, it would be
Yeah,
protection.
yeah, yeah. Because and I just asked that because I know all four of them are definitely essential, right? And but sometimes just from our own experiences, like you said, with you having a different experience in your life growing up, so sometimes we have one that is more like, all right, I'm definitely going to instill this value, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So when you think about the the four cores, if it could be a fifth value that you could add, what would that be?
Mm, mm. Now you just hitting hard questions now. Uh, a fifth value outside of love, affirmation, protection, and guidance. So I don't know how to say this. No, so I'm going to say it like this. I'm I'm going to say books smarts. Now I know that says that they can go into guidance and I can probably go into affirmation as well. But I'm gonna say smarts because being a woman, being a black woman in America, at least right now, is hard as hell. And I want her to know, I want her to be book smart as well as street smart as well. I need her to know that not everyone out there is for you, but not everyone out there
Mhm.
is against you either. And I need to know, that two plus two is four, but sometimes when you're in the workplace, because you're a woman, especially a black woman, your four is not the same as the white man's four. And I'm not, and I'm gonna say that I'm not trying to be racist or anything like that, but I'm just spitting out facts. So I want to say smarts, uh, and overall smarts. If that answers the question, sorry, it was a
Mhm.
little confusing.
No, no, no. That was great. That was great.
Mm.
So my last question is um, as a girl dad, and I know it's still new because it been never been that much. But if you can share a special moment, special story, or some advice. Well, I don't want to say advice. I just stick with a special moment or a special story, something like that, that you've had with your daughter that you wouldn't mind sharing. What would that be?
Uh, I'll give you two. The first one was probably generic, but when Emily was pregnant with Sasha, Emily felt this connection. Now, obviously, she should have because it's a person growing inside growing inside you. I personally, my first kid, did not feel that connection to him. Like I was getting scared. I was getting scared because I didn't feel that connection. When Sasha was born, and uh, Emily had to like the doctor made Emily hold her for like 20 minutes,
Mm.
and then me take my shirt off, and then had me hold her as well. Then I felt the love, and I felt something that I never felt before, and it was hard for me to let her go. They want me to get. I didn't want to give her. I didn't want to put her down at all. Like that was not happening. Uh, and so they told me that I had to for health reasons. Like okay, okay, I'll put her down, but I did not want to at all. That's the first one, and the second one is her first birthday. Actually, her first birthday. I wasn't a big fan of first birthday parties. I'm not. Then mean she's not going to remember this. This is for adults, really. All right. But when I saw how much fun she had, and then she did the cake, and they made her do that I guess cake smash thing.
Yeah.
Then that it changed me. It changed me a little bit. Still, I still don't like it a little. I mean, I still don't think it's for the kids. But I know she have. I know she. I know she. I saw the jubilation in her face, and it warms me every time I can make her happy.
Right. Right. Yeah, because like you said, it's they're not gonna remember it, but for that joy of the moment, you know what I mean? That joy of the moment. You probably remember it more so than they remember it.
Mm-hmm.
But that joy in the moment, and like you said, just watching her be able to have fun, you know what I'm saying? Definitely changes you. Like you said, you might not be like, it's still adult party.
It
It's
really, it
probably
really, it really
more
was.
so for the other kids.
Mm-hmm. Uh, and there weren't a lot of kids there either. There was, her brother was Ricky there, and then a friend of mine's son for Ricky. But I'm remember something right. That was the only there were two kids that were there. The rest of that was just adults. You know what I mean? Giving Sasha gifts and watching her smash cake.
Okay. Well, Andre, I want to thank you, man, for being on,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like you to have the last word, right? And I want you to leave us with um, just a word for our other fathers, right? Um, whether it be a word of advice or however you see fit, um, because you have a unique uh, ex- um, perspective that
Mm-hmm.
you've kind of shared from several times during this interview, which not necessarily having uh, the father in your life like you would have wanted, but
Mm-hmm.
now becoming that father,
Mm-hmm.
being able to see both sides of that coin, you know. So I want you to have the last word and leave us with a word. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to kind of think about that. To my listeners, first of all, thank you guys for uh, coming in and listening to the podcast. We're still new. We're still working out the kinks and everything, but we're gonna get it together. We're still bringing you some great conversations, some great content. So I'm glad that you guys are here. Make sure that you guys are checking us out on our company website, which is dealhealfulfill.org. That's dealhealfulfill.org. If you go to that website, you can find out more about myself and the things that I have going on as far as the workshops. Also, you can find the links to Deal to Heal Tees, which is our inspirational shirt line, as well as the link for ebooks by ejames.com, which is where our ebooks are. And this is our dad podcast. So On the ebooks by ejames.com, we have the core four, which we talk about the core four, which is four values that every daughter should get from her father. But there's also a book called From Males to Men that is there, which is a guide for young men making that transition into manhood. So those two ebooks are on there. That's be good for fathers. There's also other ebooks that are a couple other ebooks that are there, including our product of the week, which was here today, which is Start Your Podcast Now ebook. That is definitely there. So you guys can look that up at ebooksbyejames.com. And also make sure that you're checking out our website at dealhealfulfill.org. Also, I told you guys that I was going to tell you how you could win $100 from the podcast. And you can win $100 from the podcast by subscribing to our you can win $100 from the podcast by entering our super subscriber contest. Let me tell you this. That's why I did it wrong. But by entering our super subscriber contest, the first thing you must do is you must subscribe to our YouTube channel, to our Facebook page, and to our podcast on Spotify. Then text the word WIN, WIN, to the number 866-326-0730 to qualify to win $100. The competition contest is ongoing and is random, which means at any time I could put a name and you could win. And plus is ongoing. So once you're in, you're always in. You can always win. You don't have to re-up or anything like that. Again, to win $100 from the podcast, join our super subscriber contest by first subscribe to our YouTube channel, to our Facebook page, and our podcast on Spotify. Then text the word WIN, WIN, to the number 866-326-0730 to qualify to win $100. So, Andre, once again, let me say thank you again for being on the podcast, for sharing your story and sharing your time with us. I definitely appreciate it. I want you to have the last word. Leave us however you feel. And so the floor is yours.
All right. So last word is if you're a dad, girl, a father of a beautiful young woman, and just my last word is always be there for her. Legitimately always be there for her. Again, like I said before, going out without a father and then go up in foster care as well, it's hard for them. If she don't have to be missing you, then she shouldn't. All right. So always be there for your daughter. That's my last word.
All right. We can't end it no better than that. To my listeners, thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Girl Dad Discussions podcast, where we amplify the voices of girl dads throughout the world in order to get rid of the narrative of the deadbeat dad and the fatherless daughters. Until next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on our next episode.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.